Patricia Ann Boyd. Born on March 17, 1944 in the historic town of Taunton, Somerset, England, grew up in a family deeply intertwined with the transitions of post-war Britain. Her father, Colin Ian Langdon Boyd, served in the Royal Air Force, which meant that the family moved frequently, sometimes even living abroad. This constant travel exposed Pattie to a variety of cultures from a young age, shaping her adaptability and social grace, qualities that would later define her modeling career. When Colin Boyd was discharged from the RAF in 1953, the family finally settled back in England, marking the start of a more stable chapter in Pattie's life. As the eldest child, she naturally took on a nurturing role with her younger siblings, Colin, Jenny, and Paula. Despite their parents' eventual separation and remarriage, Pattie's strong family bonds remained a cornerstone of her identity. These blended family relationships, including 2 stepbrothers and 2 stepsisters, broadened her emotional intelligence and prepared her for the complexity of relationships later in life. From education to the glamorous world of modeling, Pattie Boyd's academic achievements were solid, earning 3 GCEO-level passes in 1961. However, her destiny was not in the classroom, but rather in the world of artistry and fashion. In 1962, she moved to London, then the epicenter of cultural revolution. The city was alive with energy, experimentation, and bold expressions, and Pattie arrived just in time to become part of the swinging 60s. Initially, she worked as a shampoo girl at Elizabeth Arden's salon, but it was her striking beauty and natural poise that caught the attention of a staff member from Honey magazine. Encouraged to try modeling, Pattie soon found herself in the limelight. By 1962, she was a prominent figure in the London modeling scene, and within a short period, she expanded her reach to Paris. Pattie's elegant yet youthful look made her a favorite of photographers and designers, and she began gracing the pages of major publications such as Vogue, Vanity Fair, and Elle in France. Her face became synonymous with the fashion trends of the time, and she was featured in countless spreads, including those for the Daily Telegraph and the Times. Pattie's career skyrocketed when she appeared on the cover of British Vogue, a hallmark achievement that cemented her place among the elite models of the 1960s. Pattie Boyd, the face of the swinging 60s. As a muse for celebrated photographers like David Bailey and Brian Duffy, Pattie Boyd was at the forefront of a new kind of beauty in the 1960s. Together with Jean Shrimpton, she embodied a fresh, natural, and effortlessly stylish look that marked a stark departure from the glamorous, polished figures of the 1950s. Her image became symbolic of the cultural shift in London, where freedom, experimentation, and self-expression were central to the youth movement. In the same vein, Pattie's rise to fame coincided with the changing ideals of femininity. She represented a woman who was chic, approachable, and spontaneous, qualities that resonated with a generation eager to redefine itself. The growing popularity of the mod style, especially among young women, made Pattie a central figure in fashion. She was often referred to as the most glamorous of the Beatles' wives and girlfriends, and her modeling work elevated her to the status of cultural icon. Her allure was not just in her looks, but also in her effortless grace, which was captured by some of the best photographers of the time. Pattie's fame only grew as she posed for prestigious brands like Smith's and L'Oreal, further cementing her status as one of the most recognizable faces of 60s fashion. Love, fame, and the Beatles. In early 1964, Pattie's modeling career took a significant turn when she worked on a television ad campaign for Smith's Crisps, directed by Richard Lester. Her beauty and charm caught the attention of the filmmaker, who cast her as a schoolgirl in A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles' first feature film. It was on this set that Pattie first met George Harrison, the Beatles' lead guitarist. The two instantly connected, and a romance blossomed, soon becoming one of the most talked-about relationships of the era. Pattie found herself thrust into the whirlwind of Beatlemania, where every move she made was scrutinized by the press and fans alike. Though this relationship brought unprecedented attention, it also offered Pattie a sense of creative fulfillment. As she navigated the demands of being in a relationship with one of the world's most famous musicians, Pattie's modeling career continued to flourish. The public fascination with her grew, and she became a muse for many designers and photographers. But the pressures of fame were never far behind, and Pattie found herself increasingly under the spotlight, sometimes overshadowing her career. From model to entrepreneur, the 1960s were a time of immense change, and Pattie was not content with just being a fashion icon. She decided to redirect her creative energy into business. Together with her sister Jenny, Pattie opened a boutique called Jennifer Juniper in Chelsea Market, a fashionable area of London. The boutique specialized in antiques, jewelry, and artwork, and it became a popular spot for artists, musicians, and models alike. Pattie's role was that of a buyer, selecting unique pieces for the shop, which reflected her growing interest in aesthetics beyond fashion. This venture symbolized the intersection of art, fashion, and counterculture, which defined London during that period. While she continued to model for designers like Ossie Clark and worked with iconic photographers such as Justin Devil and Twiggy, Pattie found satisfaction in building a more personal and fulfilling business. The boutique allowed her to explore a different side of her creativity and connect with like-minded individuals, the complexities of marriage and love. Pattie Boyd's romantic life reads like a rock and roll chronicle, with her marriages to George Harrison, Eric Clapton, and later Rod Weston, marking distinct chapters in her personal history. Her first marriage, to George Harrison, was one of the most celebrated unions in the world of music. They married in 1966 at the height of Beatlemania, in a modest ceremony in Surrey, England. Pattie and George's connection had been immediate, but their relationship was far from the fairy tale it seemed to be on the surface. Behind the glamour and fame, George's increasing immersion in spirituality and meditation strained their relationship. Pattie, though fascinated by his spiritual journey, often felt like an outsider in his world. George's emotional distance and infidelities added to the rift, and by 1974, their marriage was in trouble. The couple separated, and they officially divorced in 1977. Despite the heartache, Pattie always considered George her first great love, and they remained friends after their divorce. A turbulent love story with Eric Clapton. In the years following her separation from George, Pattie became involved with Eric Clapton, George's close friend and fellow musician. Clapton's deep love for Pattie during her marriage to George led to one of the most intense and tumultuous love stories in rock history. His feelings for Pattie inspired some of his most famous songs, including Layla, which poignantly captured his anguish and obsession. Pattie, initially conflicted, resisted Clapton's advances for years, but eventually gave in after her marriage to George ended. Their relationship was passionate but fraught with emotional and personal difficulties, particularly Clapton's struggles with alcoholism and infidelity. Songs like Wonderful Tonight were born from their relationship, cementing Pattie's place as a muse in rock music history. Despite their deep connection, their marriage ended in 1989 due to the emotional toll of Clapton's addiction and the turbulence of their lives together. Finding stability with Rod Weston. After years of emotional turmoil and public scrutiny, Pattie eventually found stability and peace with Rod Weston, a property developer she met in the early 1990s. Their relationship, built on mutual understanding and friendship, was a departure from her earlier, more intense relationships with musicians. They married in 2015, after nearly 3 decades together, and Pattie has often described Rod as her anchor. He provided a sense of stability and normalcy in her life, offering her the peace she had long sought after the whirlwind years spent alongside 2 of rock's greatest icons. Pattie Boyd reflects on her life with George Harrison. At 81, Pattie Boyd has chosen to speak candidly about her life, particularly her relationship with George Harrison. For years, the public only knew fragments of their story. The romanticized headlines, the songs like Something, and the images of them as the golden couple during the swinging 60s. Now, with the wisdom that comes with age, Pattie has reflected on the complexities of her marriage to George. "I adored George," she admits, "but being married to a Beatle was not a fairy tale. It was often lonely, confusing, and filled with contradictions." Pattie recalls their first meeting on the set of A Hard Day's Night in 1964, where she was cast as a schoolgirl. George's shy eyes and gentle demeanor captured her heart, and their relationship quickly deepened. However, the pressures of fame soon began to take their toll on their marriage. As George became more immersed in meditation and spiritual pursuits, Pattie often felt left behind. "I tried to follow him," she recalls, "but I felt like an outsider in his new world." Their emotional distance grew as the years passed, and by the mid-1970s, infidelities and the challenges of living under the microscope of fame made their marriage increasingly difficult. Pattie's heartache reached its peak when she learned of George's rumored affair with Ringo Starr's wife, Maureen. Despite the pain, Pattie reflects on the love they shared. "George had a kind, gentle spirit when he was himself," she says. "When he played guitar or talked about God, there was a light in his eyes that I'll never forget." After their separation and eventual divorce, Pattie and George remained in contact, developing a quiet friendship. When George passed away in 2001, Pattie mourned him deeply, acknowledging that despite everything, he had left an indelible mark on her life. "He was my first great love," she confesses, "and I don't think anyone ever forgets that." The enduring legacy of love. Pattie Boyd's reflections at 81 are filled with tenderness and wisdom. She speaks of George Harrison not only as a rock legend, but as a human being, flawed, searching, and deeply spiritual. Through her eyes, we see a love story that was messy, beautiful, and real. Pattie's truth reminds us that behind every legend is a human story, one of love, loss, and forgiveness, and the enduring echoes of a bond that shaped an era.